How you guys doing? Doing great.
You see a forecast like that, do you just automatically assume this is going to be one of those old school 40 times a game type of games?
Yeah, I mean, we prepare to play in any type of weather, every week. Of course, the forecast indicates that we could be getting some wind and maybe some snow. So, we understand in our stadium and other outdoor stadiums in the NFL, when you get wind, that can affect the way the offense approaches the game. So we're certainly ready to defend whatever they present to us, whether they run or they pass. Those are their two options on offense, to run or pass. So if it's more of a run game, we'll be ready to go. If they throw the ball, we got to defend that too.
Outside of how it might change their approach, does the weather really affect you guys on defense at all, or do you just kind of do what you do?
Yeah, we do what we do. I mean, our job on defense as coaches is to, present the players with a plan, with a scheme, with the techniques to have success to defend the run and the pass. I mean, as soon as the forward pass was invented, right, offenses have had two choices. Are you going to run or are you going to pass? Or are we going to choose to run or are we going to choose to pass? So, we got to be sound in both areas. Again, in our scheme, how everyone works together, run and pass, and, the techniques we teach to defend both in terms of defending the pass, covering in the run game, getting off blocks, tackling, individual tackle techniques, group pursuit and vice tackle techniques and concepts. So those are the things that we focus on. And then once they decide run or pass, we go play and we finish.
Sione got hurt. How tough was it to lose him, especially with the year he was having?
Yeah, first for Sione, it's tough. And from my perspective, having been around him for 3 seasons now, I mean, he's such an impressive human being. He's one of the most consistent guys I've ever been around in terms of his approach to the game as a student of the game, and then just the toughness and physicality he plays. He was a good player when we got here, but wow, he has improved so much, and that's a testament to him. He's played all 3 positions, Sam, Will, Mike, in base defense and nickel defense in our system, and he's shown the ability to do them at a high level. I think we've all seen that. So I was so excited for him this season when he got to play more and more and play different positions and continue to prove himself, to the people in the league on what he can do and what he's capable of, and he did it. So, that's the first thing for me, is that he's not getting the opportunity to play right now, and I miss him as a human and as a person every day out on the field. Now, obviously, you like to have him on the field for the benefit of the team. Those things are important too, but first it's unfortunate for him because, man, he works hard. He has fun out there. He brings a lot of toughness and juice and leadership to our defense.
The 4 guys that you guys have lost at that position, the season-ending injuries, I mean, it just seems like such an anomaly. I know it's football, but for it to all happen in one position group, I guess just how do you think everyone in that room has kind of handled that, from the guys who are injured to the guys who've had to step up and replace them?
Yeah, I mean, the same things I said about Sione just on the previous question, you can apply those to Jacob, to Awak, to Jeremiah. So, my first feeling is like those guys love playing the game. They have a huge impact on our team and our room, and for them not to have the opportunity to play, that's, to me, that's the hardest thing first, because they deserve to be out there. But you're right, it is football. People get hurt. It's a next man up mentality. To have all 4 guys go down is probably unusual, but I think the room's responded really well. I mean, first, Coach Tarver has been terrific in terms of his leadership, how he coaches, the consistency he brings every day, how he's demanding and upbeat. I mean, that's special. We're fortunate to have that as a defense. And then the guys that have come in who weren't here in camp, guys like Debo and now Reggie, JC, really proud of how they've worked, how they've integrated themselves, how they've learned our system. So I'm proud of them. And then guys like Jordan and Tony, who may have not had the opportunities early in the season to get more opportunities now. It's cool to see how everyone's working together and stepping up.
A couple things about Taysom Hill.
Sure.
First of all, just as a runner, how good is he? I mean, he's got a really good yards per carry. So what does he do well to be effective in that area?
Yeah, I mean, Taysom Hill's he's a bigger guy. I mean, he's, pretty tall. He's a heavier back, just in terms of the body. I think he's got pretty good vision and he's decisive. He's a physical player. He runs downhill. He runs through contact. He keeps his feet alive at the contact point. So, I respect the toughness he plays with. It's cool to watch that, right, for the game, just seeing a guy like that run that hard. And it poses a big challenge on us and our tackling technique and our toughness to get off of blocks and tackle him. And then, the nature of how they use him in the quarterback role, it's a little different to defend.
Well, like when you're preparing for that, and the fact that he could line up a quarterback, line up a tight end, fullback, receiver, and then you don't know if he and Andy are going to be on the field together or not. Like, how do you go about figuring out how you're going to handle all those different scenarios?
Yeah, I mean, I'm fortunate to have coached against the Saints in different places over the, past 4 or 5 years, and he's been on the team. So, to your point, he could first not be in the game at all, or now he's in the game. And then is he in the game with 14 or is he in the game without 14? So, you need to identify those things. But every week you try to identify who's on the field, right? Like last week, we wanted to know which tight ends were on the field, which back was on the field as best you can. You're trying to identify who's on the field, to have an idea of what they might do or put the defense in the best position to have success. I think this week that's important as well because of how they use Taysom Hill.
Challenges Alvin Kamara in the way they use him.
Well, he's a dynamic player. Kamara's always been a dynamic player. I remember when he first got in the league, he just had the unique skill set to challenge the defense in the run and the pass game. He's always been a terrific receiver. When he gets the ball in his hands in space, I mean, you got to be really good individually tracking him and with your tackling techniques, getting him to the ground. And then, it may take more than one just because of his ability. And that's a credit to him. He's done it for a long time. So you see that right now, catching short passes. He can be dynamic in that way, out of the backfield. And then as a runner, I mean, he's got excellent vision, excellent feel. He runs their run schemes well. You have to be really sound as a group, setting edges, everyone owning their gap, and then building the wall, meaning I got to own the gaps inside the edge setter, right, so that you don't give him an opportunity to run in space. But, yeah, I mean, he's one of the top players in the league. We know that.
With chance that JD doesn't play this weekend, how has Alex been, especially as an edge setter run defender?
Yeah, Alex has done a nice job. We recognized that early in training camp once we had the pads on. He's got length. He's got toughness. He's got explosion. Again, Coach Kiffin does a great job teaching him our technique of edge setting. So, again, we identified it early. He keeps getting better. I'm excited to see him get more and more opportunities. He's done a good job in practice this week. And, guys like Chase and IT, too, have done a nice job with that technique and with that role in our defense. So I'm excited for all those guys.
The safety position again in the run game.
Yeah, I mean, I think all year those guys have made plays in the run game. I can think back to week 1. Grant made some really nice tackles, in the run game. He did so again versus Cincinnati in both games. So I think like any position, any player, the more you play, the more experience you have, the faster things happen for you on the field, the more confidence you get. And he did a heck of a job, Grant did in the game versus Baltimore last week, and John did too. So, those guys just understanding their role in the defense, the people in front of them, playing, decisively, playing violent, defining things for them so they can play fast. But, I mean, those guys, John and Grant, they're tough dudes, and Ronnie as well. They're tough dudes. When they see it and they trigger, they're huge assets for us in the run game, and I really appreciate what they're doing.